Greetings, greetings, family, near and far, far and wide, on planet, off planet, in the planet. You've done that, goes already. If your nature's agreeable, step forward, disagreeable, step back, because right about now. We don't have no more time for that. Come in, my youth.
And yeah, we're back with Lady Crowne, and we don't stay down, we stay up. We don't chat put, because it's real talk, episode 114, and all the numerals add up to number 6, the number of balance. You can turn up straight, you know? So yeah, what you got to say to the people there, Lady Crowne?
Ooh.
So many things have been happening. So many things.
I don't know if anybody's been paying attention, because this is the time of year when we get distracted with all sorts, you know, running up and down like lunatics, buying gifts and all of that sort of stuff, you know, overindulging, food, drink, you name it. This is what we do. It's supposed to be celebrating the birth of a Christ, I think, the Christ Mass, but the whole thing has been corrupted, so therefore it's more focused on what you get, what you give, and all the rest of that. But for those of you who have one finger on the pulse, you'd have noticed what's happening with silver. Now, STS will tell you, and anybody that's been tapped into us since 2021, namely Michelle, Queen Michelle, she'll tell you.
Out there.
We've been speaking about silver for a long time, how the price has been suppressed. I told you to tap into Big Swear on YouTube. He's been talking about it forever. Dates back to the, you know, the Economist magazine that was printed with cash burning and this, you know, phoenix above it. So it's literally telling you that there was a time when the fiat currency system that we use at the minute was going to end. And I think that magazine came out in 1989. I mean, all of these things are put out way before it actually happened. And I have been posting sort of like screenshots on from the Bullion by Post website, showing you the increases in the price of silver, and also letting you know that there will come a time when it starts to really move, when, you know, they'll just slam it down, tamper it down, because it's all manipulated. Everything, even the crypto markets, are all manipulated, and that's what we need to get away from, manipulation. So I think it was Friday, so it would have been Boxing Day, when it went up twice. I think it was like £88 in the early part of the day, and then it went to 93. So like had a jump of £5 in the space of like a few hours. Never happened before in history. Never. It's never been above $50, and I think it was at $75. So you can see that they've got a real problem. So every market was frozen. I don't know if they just flicked a switch or whatever, but every website I went onto, and I kept going onto these websites, especially the Bullion by Post, and checking, because there's always ebbs and flows. So that, you know, the price is always sort of like going up and down. It might be a penny, 2 penny, 10 pence, whatever, but there's always movement. And from Boxing Day and until today, there was no movement until today, Monday. So they're literally, this is all the websites, everybody that was selling silver. You could go in and make a purchase online, but the price stayed exactly the same. It never moved. So that showed me that they'd actually flicked a switch to say, look, you know, this is getting out of control. What they don't want to do, as somebody that's a bullion company that's a seller, is to sell you something at £93, and in the next 5 seconds it's £95, £97. You see what I'm saying? So they have to do something to ensure that they don't incur any losses. But that is called manipulation. It's not a free market. A free market is when something does really well because it's, you know, there's a high demand and there's very little of it. So there's a high demand and very little, then guess what? You're going to get massive price increases and vice versa. But they literally came in and stopped everything from moving until today. I think I checked it about an hour or so ago, and it was at £89. So gone down from 93 to 89. So, you know, what's that difference of £4? Manipulation. They don't have the physical silver to cover the shorts. This is all the paper derivatives that they've, you know, conjured up out of thin air. So the banks are short silver. So there's a silver squeeze on. And what I would say to you, if you are trying to preserve some of your wealth in silver, don't watch the price, because it's all manipulation. Even when I'm posting stuff on, it's manipulated prices. The only thing is that the manipulation's literally been taken out of the hands of the people that are manipulating it, if you get what I'm saying, because it's gone past where they are comfortable for it to go past. Now it's like we're in uncharted territories, and you might find bank failures and all sorts happening because they can't deliver on silver. It's such a strategic metal. It's needed in every industry that you can think of, medicines, EVs, it's just everything. And it's gone into landfill, especially in this country. Everything, just thrown away. There are other countries that have been recycling for a long time, probably because they knew the value of silver. It's more valuable than gold in terms of what it's used for. So I'm not giving anybody any financial advice, just some information. And if you've gone onto the TikTok channel, which is Lady Crowne and SDS, you'll see that I have been posting screenshots of the price increases and decreases, as the case may be. But literally, I'm saying don't pay any attention to any of that, and whatever you can acquire, then I recommend that you do. I'm not giving you any financial advice, so don't say, oh, she told me to get this and now it's gone down. They can put it this way: because of the control that they have, they can actually put it to zero. They did it with oil, 2-3 years ago. We went into negative $45, which is ridiculous. How can you bring negative $45 to go and buy a barrel of oil? So it shows you the manipulation in order to dampen down what's happening in the market. So don't watch that. What you need to do is, I would say, accumulate, 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 and wait for the time when you're able to exchange whatever you've accumulated for something tangible: land, house, your favorite car that you might like, because those are the sort of prices that we're going to be seeing. It's not going to happen in the next 6 months, next year, but 5-10 years from now, who's to tell? But mark my words, silver will go 1-to-1 with gold, and it will even surpass gold, just because it's needed more so than gold. And every ounce of gold is still above ground. It's not been, thrown into landfill. Silver has. Yeah, and that's why we've got a scarcity, and on top of the derivatives and the paper certificates that don't really represent a physical ounce. It's just a piece of paper that they've been selling to people. And don't buy and store, because if you buy something on the website, it's going to be cheaper because it's got storage. So you can go, oh, you know what, I'll get this because it's cheaper, and they will store it for me. Yeah, again, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. So be very mindful of websites telling you that they're out of stock, but you can still buy and store. Well, if you're out of stock, so you're not able to send it to me, how are you going to be able to store it for me? So just be mindful of that, and don't end up with a lot of people having these paper certificates and nothing physical. And when they do call for that physical, it won't be there, and they'll be offered, back the fiat currency that they used to buy in the first place. And we all know what's happening with the fiat currency. So yeah, that was my little update on silver. Come in, Mayu.
Yeah, the big tech companies are going to need silver more than most metals because they use it in their technology, such as AI and the phones. So silver is going to be a big thing for the future. And one thing I learned is that knowledge isn't power. The execution of it is, because your intention and action is 95% of your state of being. Your expression is only 5%. So what you do is key.
Absolutely.
Not just what you say.
Yeah.
That can be an illusion that creates confusion. So, it's all about action out here. So you get your true manifestation. So yeah, man. Update on what's going on in terms of, the collective is that a lot of people have been forced to deal with their own issues right now because the universe is like had enough, basically. This year's been the year of completion, number 9, and now we're moving into 2026. So call 2026 what we got to go with, what the collective is dealing with, and the numerals add up to number 1, linked to new beginnings. So now it's really time to, manifest a greater reality, not just for self, but for the whole, because we're all interconnected. So yeah, get ready, because a lot of things are coming. And everyone's been on about Free Eye Atlas. But, it's about your internal state, because one thing I've learned with reality is that it comes down to your perception. So Free Eye Atlas can assist some people and it can hurt some people according to your perception, because how you internalize the energy is how you're going to manifest it outside of you, because you're projecting your reality from your mind and consciousness. So you got to realize that There's no world out there, You know that famous scene in The Matrix when the boy says to Neo that the spoon isn't there? That's not a joke. Like, his mind is manifesting the spoon bending. So you're manifesting at all times, remember that. So when you really tap in, you'll realize that you got extreme power. And I never forget when Robert Kiyosaki said that there's no world out there. Everything's in between your two ears. And he's a billionaire. He's coming from a place of really manifesting big. So he knows about the secrets of this reality, because a lot of us have been educated by people that want to control us, the puppet master that works behind the scenes and creates a lot of puppets to speak for him or her. Going back to your expression again, it's only 5%. So, when you're getting this information from Lady Crowne and myself, just remember that it can stimulate your mind, but what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? That's the question. Because what you do with it's key. That's everything out here, because it creates your reality. And when I got to that mentality there, my whole life changed, and I realized, okay, less talking, more action. And Steve Jobs, this is so I had the 80 to 20% rule. 80% signal, 20% noise. And to really tap in, and he manifested big. He knows what he's dealing with. We need to tune in, signal. You need to tune into that signal, because the universe doesn't care about what you really say that much, It actually cares about the energy you're emitting, because that's all it can respond to. So remember, it's about the signal you're tuning into, that creates your reality. There's many dimensions to this realm, and many people are stuck in a 3D, but you can upgrade yourself at any time, because we're multidimensional beings. So when you gain this knowledge, remember that you've got the power. You've got the power, but your action is key, to your manifestation. I'll just leave it on that.
Well, that was lovely, wasn't it, folks? Eh? To hear him speak, this is so beautiful.
It's like poetry sometimes, because I rap a lot, you see. So when I speak, sometimes I'll be thinking to myself, wait a second, why are you rhyming for? But it's because of repetition. When you really, and one thing I learned about these great minds, just like yourself, is that they all work off repetition, because they're being real. That's what it is. Because they're actually manifesting their reality at all times. They're not making up fake realities, you get me?
Yeah.
They're sticking to who they are. So when you really stick to who you are, you work off repetition. Trust me. With upgrading yourself as well, but repetition's key, because think about this now, I'll leave it on this now. When you do reps, what happens? You get stronger, Okay. But if you don't do reps, what happens? You get weaker, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can be fluctuating. This is why I say, people can be whoever they want to be at any single second if they ain't really tapping in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're not working off repetition, you get me? So this is why, when you learn about the subconscious, you'll realize, wait a sec, most of us have got the wrong information. Because they stimulated our conscious mind.
Yeah.
Come on, it's 5%.
Yeah. It's like that SDS said, you know what I mean? We're entering back into that numeral 1, which is the beginning.
Yeah.
And so we're walking into a new world, one whereby it doesn't have to be handed to us. Are you slurping?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be handed to us in terms of everything that you're taught, because you can now start teaching yourself. That the fallacies, the fables, the stories, the fairy tales all have to come to an end, because when we perpetuate the lies, they just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so people, still fall for the bullshit, basically. And it's literally, even if the truth and the facts might be painful to hear, I think I'd much rather I hear it than pretend that it doesn't exist, and that the world that's been created for us and shaped for us is the one that we're in. It's one that we choose, and I choose to live in peace, love, unity, harmony amongst all men and women, all races, all cultures, all religion. to get this, you know, they want to create a one world government, and that's so they can have full control over every aspect of your life and take ownership of your life and those of your progeny. You know, we want a world whereby every living creature, every existence is able to live in peace, unity, and harmony. But we must have facts. We must be dealing with facts. We can't do the fiction anymore because it's not, obviously it's not working, is it? You just look at where the world's gone to because we just kept on accepting, which, you know, like the little small lie or the little white lie, whatever they want to call it. It's not the truth. And I think the more that we're exposed to, and the more that, because you see, with the invention and of AI and all of that, it's not here to harm us. It's here to assist and to help. And the things that were hidden before are now coming to light, because even though they've created these LLM, these long language models, you can use it to help assist you in your daily life. And if there's certain things that you might want information on, you'll be able to get it. Whereas if you listen to anybody stood in front of a podium calling himself a prime minister, a president, a king, whatever, you just got to hope that what they're saying is truthful. And I think probably 10 times out of 10 it's an absolute lie, because they have to continue to keep you in the dark because they don't want you to see the light. They don't want you to grow. They don't want you to know, you know, and that's how they can have full control over you. So use these chat GPTs, Grok, whatever, to assist you. SDS will tell you, I produced I didn't produce it. AI produced it for me, an ebook in about 2 hours. So, you know, there's old ways of urning, you know, when you put ashes in an urn, don't you know, when you're deceased, and even the words that they use shows you how dead and everything is, and how it's not meant for you to grow and develop and have, you know, all the wonderful things in life. You can start moving away from those traditional forms of earning money, earning cash, earning currency, because it's not real money, and doing something for yourself. You see what I'm saying? Anything that you're passionate about, that you have an interest in, it, I don't know what it might be, sewing, knitting, whatever. You can produce an ebook on it. You know what I'm saying? It might be anything, and you know, just put it out there and see if there's other like-minded people that might want to buy your ebook. But AI will do it for you. All you got to do is feed it the information that you want in that book, and it will give it to you. Twerk it for you, tweak it for you, whatever it needs. It'll twerk it if you want it to. You know, bring it to life for you. Your thoughts, your ideas, your passion can be brought to life, and you can do it. You don't need permission. You don't need somebody to sit down there and, you know, ghost write something for you. All those ways of doing things are over, and you can make a living for yourself and for your family outside of the system that's out there that's collapsing because they're telling you AI is going to come and take your job. Well, why don't you use AI to create your own work then? If that's the case, why are you going to sit down there and wait for something to come along that makes you, you know, useless in terms of the workforce? Don't useless eater, don't need you. Why not do something for yourself? This is, you know, we're approach, and remember, it's a Gregorian calendar. It's not it's not the actual factual calendar, but you can still work with things, because regardless of what you think and what you know, we're moving into January according to the Gregorian calendar. There'll be, you know, fireworks going off in a few days from now, and everybody's singing Happy New Year. Well, it won't be the New Year, will it? If you're honest with yourself, no. New Year brings you into an absolute freaking Baltic Arctic weather.
Next year, March.
Isn't it? Exactly. Yeah. That's when everything starts to come to life again. So that should be a celebration. So, you know, you can, you know, we do it every year. We'll, you know, we'll have because we do a fast just before the spring, is it spring equinox?
Spring equinox.
You know, then that's our way of bringing in the new year. You know, we don't go around shouting Happy New Year, Happy New Year. But you know, this is something that, you know, SDS and I do, because it's important to acknowledge those key dates, not the ones that they've given you. They've given you things that aren't real, and, you know, and built this whole facade around it. But that can't be new, can it? If it's not, you know, if life is not starting to come back onto the planet, it's everything's died down, leaves are gone green, dropped off, gone brown. It's showing there's a death cycle taking place and then a rebirthing taking place, which is going into spring, you know. So we need to get back in tune with nature and really reconnect with nature, because we are nature. You know what I'm saying?
It's
We
the
need
cycles, isn't it? Because
exactly.
the cycles of nature, the seasons, show you what you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
But because we've been disconnected and educated by people that's trying to control us once again, is that we've been denatured.
Yeah.
You know, this is why we don't respect nature, a lot of us, because it's not just, you know, we've been, how can I put it? We've altered our focus from it to the point where we're more focused on the matrix, you know what I mean, than what is natural to us.
Yeah.
You know, we lost that tribal essence about us.
Yeah.
You know, and we've become, I don't want to say, I'm going to switch it. We've become limited in terms of our perception of reality.
Yeah.
I'll just put it like that. You know, because at the end of the day, when you connect with nature, you get millions of alkaline ions that boost up your chemistry and bring you back to center, bring you back into your power. Because remember, a lot of us have lost a lot of life force energy, and this is why we're walking around with low energy. It's simple as that. There's a reason why the animals are always in natural flow state. Why? Yeah, because they're in nature. They're in nature. It's not rocket science, and also nature people are more present, way more present. They're way more polite. They're way more in tune with who they are because they're connected to nature. Yeah, you know, it's so key, because a lot of us have picked AI and technology over nature. I'm not saying don't use it. I'm saying don't let it use you. Yeah, that's key. Absolutely. Because now you become a tool. Yeah. But yeah, man. Yeah. That's it for me. Is that you? That's it for me. You know, this was abrupt. What word do you use? Apontrian. What's that word? Impromptu. Yeah, I can't even pronounce it. Derived. But yeah, but we had to do this today because you know, sometimes, not even sometimes, all the time for me, trust me, when you follow spirit, it never lets you down, you know. Never lets you down because it has a higher perspective. Now we're in a world that has been shaped by the matrix that causes many tricks. So we've become so physical and material that we forget that we're not actually physical. Exactly. Imagine that. Yeah, no. We're spirit first. We're inhabiting these vessels right now to have this experience for this time. Yeah. You know, on the other side, they say that it's only around 20 minutes. This is a brief moment in time, you know. Yeah. So just enjoy it. You know? Absolutely. Enjoy it, baby. You know. See, no, I'm not gonna do it. But yeah, that's all we got to say for this one. Lady Crowne and STS over and out. Peace and blessings. Peace, my people.